Good afternoon. You're tuning into Expansion of Consciousness. I'm your host, Jason Medlock. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that you're back for another show. We have a very exciting guest, um, Mrs. Murielle Fellous, and um, talking about this young lady for a second. She's a quantum life coach. She's a tapping specialist. We try to bring you guys different variety each week. A person who can help you move in different parts of your life, improve different parts of your life. It's all about expanding your consciousness, and we realize that our consciousness is expanded in a lot of different ways in business, in our personal lives, in things we're trying to do when we compete, the way we think about things. So I'm very excited about having Muriel on today. Muriel is a certified quantum life coach. She's also an EFT tapping specialist and an advanced Reiki practitioner. Muriel loves teaching audiences about training their brain and aligning their energy to take inspired action and to co-create the universe. We're going to demonstrate a live tapping session today, a live EFT session, which is emotional freedom technique. These sessions are adapted to advance or to take you on a short visualization type experience. So Muriel has done a lot of this stuff for a lot of people around the country. She's a coach. That encompasses a mind, body, and soul approach that can be applied to all areas of your life. But so before I just continue to dote on Muriel, let's just go ahead and bring her on, and we'll discuss some of the things that she does. Hi there, Muriel. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm terrific, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And I know that the audience, we talk about a lot of different things dealing with consciousness and mind, body, soul, and business and mindset, performance improvement. But we haven't done anything associated with tapping and just trying to, understand, roadblocks that are in your life. Things that help you prevent you from being engaged with the universe. You know, so we're glad to have you on. We're glad to have you on.
I'm excited to be here. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good, good, good. So what led you to do what you're doing today?
Pain.
I know, I know. I'm ready to strap down and listen to everything, as well as our audience. But what led you to do what you're doing right now, Muriel?
So I raised three kids alone as a single mom,
Mhm.
and it wasn't easy. But when they got, especially when my last two got to become teenagers, they started acting out in very self-destructive and potentially very dangerous ways. And that spiraled me into a depression without me even realizing that I was going down.
Yes.
Uh, I was I was miserable. I kept saying it's too much. I can't deal with all that. I don't have what it takes. And I was wishing that I would just disappear. I would never kill myself, but because I had kids, but I kept myself. I was telling the universe, God, if you want to take me, just take me. I can't deal with that. It's too hard. And so I was waking up at night regularly, especially when my kids were going out, in anxiety with my heart beating like super fast, panic attacks, because I was afraid that I would find one of them dead one of those days.
And people have those panic attack. I mean, that stuff is real.
Oh, it is. And let me tell you, it
Mhm.
does affect your physiology, and it's not fun to go through that.
Yes.
And until one day when I was really asking the universe, like, help me deal with that. And that night I woke up and I realized that I didn't like my life. And I never admitted that to myself because I carried so much self judgment about
Yes.
it.
Yes.
On the, from the outside, I had everything. I had a job, I had healthy kids, everything was going quote unquote well. So I didn't give myself permission to say that I didn't like my life, because some people had it so hard. I mean, and that night I realized that we can be walking paradoxes. We can, on one side of us can love our family, love our kids, love what we have, and the other side can like hate what we are going through. And when I was able to admit that in myself, I started crying. And that
Mm.
was the beginning of the healing. Because to heal, to progress in anything, you have to become aware of what is. And I was finally there. And from there, because of tools like you mentioned EFT, emotional freedom technique,
Hmm.
a lot of meditation, a lot of connection to the divine, I slowly, slowly brought myself back. And when I was back, I promised myself that I would do, I was already coaching, but I was coaching more on relationships. I changed the direction of my business and I said, I want to help moms like me, because I wished I had someone to help me when I was going through that. And in fact, the depression that I went through was a gift, because it forced me to stop trying to control everything by myself, to stop trying to do everything by myself, and to really leave space for the universe to step in and assist and guide me. And it changed the way I do life, not only parenting, but everything in my life, to come from that higher place in ourselves, and the one that is connected to the divine, to all that is, and really go from there. Like the energy flow would come from up, down, and out, instead of having life being in front of you and taking it in, where you're in reaction instead of response. So that's when I started really applying what I now teach to other parents and other moms.
So being a mind, body, and spirit coach, being aligned with the universe, and you've lived in 3 or 4 different countries, so you've seen it all. You know the different types of cultures and the different types of people that are out there. What are some of the common challenges you see your clients struggle with?
The fear of uncertainty, that's one of the biggest fear that I
Yes,
see.
being authentic, just the
Yes.
fear of not being who you want to be. And people, and you said this a minute ago, even though you were doing well, it was hard to share with somebody that you were struggling, because they're looking at you like, look at your life. You have a great life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the fear of not being who we are, because who we are, first of all, is much more than this body that we can see. We are way more powerful and more beautiful. And forgetting
Magnificent.
that, yes, literally magnificent.
Yes. Yes.
Forgetting that, because when you forget that, you're afraid of what's going to happen in life. You try to control everything to stay out of fear, but it's the opposite. It lands you in anxiety. You can't control. There are things. When I start coaching moms, the first thing I had to do for myself is to establish what is my zone of power and what is my zone of powerlessness. What do I need to surrender to something higher than me, bigger than me, stronger, wiser? And that in itself freed so much energy that was occupied in an area where I don't have control. If my kids were meant to die in this life, there's nothing I can do that will prevent that. I'm not that powerful.
Mm,
So I had to really relinquish that to the universe, remembering every time the universe protected and guiding me, it's also there for them.
mm.
They also are spiritual beings. They also have some kind of wisdom, even if they're young and acting from a brain that is highly impulsive, they still have this wisdom to connect to. So I really had to go down to the fear of, if I lose a kid, the tools to deal with that will be provided to me then. Until then, I have no business allocating any energy to those thoughts, because it weakens me to take action in my area of power. So that's the first thing. And that's what we sometimes forget, trying to control something that is not our business to control. Our
Yes.
business is to be ready, to be the best that we can be, to remember who we are, to use the power of co-creation with the universe. Not only use, we are trained to use our intellect in society. We
Yes.
emphasize the power of the intellect. We forget about all the rest, all our other senses, all our other connections to the universe, the power of our imagination to impact our reality. It's, to me, it's really sad that we don't teach that in school. Really,
And
really sad.
I've spoken about this on previous episodes about why aren't certain things being taught in school, and that just baffles. We can spend another show just talking about that, but I think the main thing in all of this, when you're starting to connect and starting to understand the infinite abilities that you possess from within, you develop a sense of self-love. You develop a sense of self-realization. And Muriel, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful thing. Tell me this: what is self-love to you when you think of the
It,
word self-love?
so it has several aspects. First of all,
Mhm.
what I practice and teach self love starts with becoming aware of where we shoot ourselves in the leg, because we have so many unconscious patterns and unconscious beliefs and behaviors that lead us to where we don't want to be. So first of all, a little bit starting to bring clarity on that and starting to observe yourself, become aware. And the other, to me, I have the word in French, but it's one of the pillars of my teaching. It's to be more gentle with ourselves, because we beat ourselves up so much. We are mean to ourselves in a way that we would never do that to someone outside of ourselves. We would never do that. And that weakens us. So when we can start doing those two things already, slowly we're going to go to other things, but the negative self-talk and the beating ourselves up is huge.
Mm. It's real huge. And words are powerful. Words travel at the speed of light. And they can, people don't realize this, but your subconscious, if you say something over and over and over, your subconscious mind will begin to believe that's the route you want to go. So people have to
Yeah,
understand that words are powerful.
words are powerful. Words have vibrations. And what we tell ourselves over and over and over time, it becomes a belief. And we take that for truth, when in fact it's a reinforced thought. And it's very, there are two sides to that. There is the brain side, because there is a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, which acts like a filter and filters information that comes from outside, because at any second there is so much information coming to us, with our skin, the way we feel, what we breathe, what we smell, what we see, what we hear. The brain cannot take all in, it's too much. So it will filter what is important for us to know. And that reticular activating system, it's in short, it's the RAS, will say, okay, you believe the world is a dangerous place. Let's show you, let's bring coherence between your inner world and the outward. And everything you will be noticing is why the world is dangerous. If on the opposite, you believe that the world is a wonderful place, yes, there are stuff happening, but there are so many beautiful and safe stuff, your brain will say, okay, let's show her that the world is a safe place. That's why it's crucial to be careful, to be at the gate of your mind and be careful what you let in. And the other side of that is the vibration side. I always explain energy like an elevator. Based on where you emote, the emotion that you are entertaining in your body, you are feeling, you will stop at a certain floor. Let's say today you're hopeful. You're going to stop at the floor of hope, and you're going to attract everything that resonates with hope, whether it is a person, a thing, a situation. When you are in distress, you're going to attract everything on that floor, but there is only things, people, and situations that resonate with distress. So throughout the day, we go up and down, but we have dominant emotions, unconscious even emotions that we practice on a regular basis every day. And when you start becoming aware of how do I feel? Okay, I feel, for example, stressed, anxious. If you can pinpoint the thought that you were thinking that led you there, because one thought will come and then another, and they will all be thoughts of anxiety, and you're going to end up going even more anxious. And that's where you need to intervene on yourself. That's what I was doing when after I realized that I was depressed, when I was waking up in the middle of the night and my kids were out and I was in anxiety, I intervened. But because my body and my nervous system were so triggered, my body was on alert, like if there was a predator in the room, like if my kids were
Wow.
going. Yeah, because our reptilian brain doesn't make the difference between a real predator and a thought. So your nervous system is going to be on alert. You can't, it's almost impossible at this time to try to grab a thought that is a better vibration thought. You're going to have first to calm down your nervous system, come to a neutral point, and from there you can go up into the emotional levels.
Mm.
So you use EFT to interrupt the nervous response, to interrupt the part of the brain that is the stress center, like the smoke detector of the brain, like to say danger, danger. And once your nervous system is calmer, then you can go and pick a thought like, right now, at this moment, nobody's in danger. We're safe. At this moment, we're safe. There is a power that's protecting me, is protecting them too. Things that you practice to really bring yourself up in emotion.
So we spent a lot of time talking about the emotions. Let's go ahead and do the demonstration for the emotional freedom technique, and that's what we've been talking about, tapping.
Yes. So for people who don't know what tapping is a mix between ancient wisdom, because we use the acupuncture meridians instead of needles. We use our fingers, and modern psychology, like oh shoot, I can't find it. It's escaped my brains, but it's
Right.
aspect of psychology.
Okay. So I'm
And
going to be your guinea pig.
yes, to work with it, I'm going to ask you to go look for a thought maybe that stresses you. And I'm not going to leave you there, I promise. And for the people, the audience, go and find something that stresses you or brings you a little bit of anxiety, and really connect with it in your body. See where this anxiety is falling. What do you feel?
So do we need to close our eyes or just look for the
Whatever
thought?
is
Or
going to help you connect with that feeling in your body, because it really needs to be present in your body. On a scale of 0 to 10, like 0 is I'm not feeling it, 10 is like it's overwhelming. You want to be at least at a 5. So,
okay.
and the audience, they can pause the show, find a thought, and then come back to the show. And you have also an audio episode of that podcast, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I will describe the points as we tap on it, so that the people who don't watch can also follow, or they can go to a silent movie of the tapping point where I demonstrate and tap at the same time. It's called, it is liveeft.com.
Gotcha.
And let me know when you're there, when you're at a 5 with something that triggers a reaction in your body of stress.
Okay. Am I a good candidate? Because I don't view stress as stress. Obviously, I'm a hypnotist and working a lot of different modalities.
So let's say
I'm a meditator. I'm a transcendental meditator. So
it's hard for you to.
I don't identify stress that way, but I can give you things that I think about, the most. And
how do you identify?
you hear me, Murielle? I'm careful with my language.
Yes.
Yes.
But so I would tell you that now for the EFT, since we want to tap on the emotion, don't try to take distance from the emotion, or don't try to be careful with your language. Maybe you don't perceive it as stress, but are there things that when you think about them, maybe your chest is tensed, or your neck is tensed, or you have some kind of reaction of urgency. Let's say you have a ton of things to do and you don't know if you're going to have enough time. Can you reach a thought like that?
I'm there. I got it.
Okay. So where do you feel it in your body?
I feel it right here.
In the back of your head.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go with that. Can you, and if people can do it, and do you believe, what's the number on the scale from 0 to 10 of the intensity of the sensation?
5.
Okay, perfect. So if you had to call it, you would say the back of my head, that sensation in the back of my head, would that
Yes.
resonate with you? Okay.
Yes.
Same thing for the audience. It can be in their stomach. So they're going to say the sensation in my stomach. Could you identify a color that goes with that sensation or a shape? If not, that's okay.
Not right off, but I probably
Okay.
could.
That's okay. If it doesn't come right away, that's fine. What we're going to do now, we're going to tap with 3 or 4 fingers, and I will let you know of the points. And I'm going to say sentences, and you will repeat after me. Same thing for the audience. They change the words to match their experience. We're going to tap, first of all, on the side of the hand, the karate chop. It's from the pinky joint to the wrist. We're going to tap with the other hand, like the 3 fingers. And we're gonna do what we call a statement, a setup statement.
Okay.
So we're gonna say, even though I have this sensation in the back of my head,
Even though I have the sensation in the back of my head,
I accept how I feel,
I accept how I feel,
and I love and accept myself. If there is any resistance, you can say, I'm willing to love and accept myself.
and I'm willing, and I also love and accept myself.
We're gonna repeat that 2 more times. Even though I have this sensation in the back of my head,
Even though I have this sensation in the back of my head,
and I can feel it physically,
and I can feel it physically,
related to the source of my stress, and you know what it
related to the
is.
source of my stress,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself,
and I accept what I feel.
and I accept what I feel.
One last time, even though I have this sensation in the back of my head,
Even though I have this sensation in the back of my head,
still tapping on the side of the hand for the people who listen, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And now we're going to take our 3 fingers and we're going to tap on the top of the head, the real top.
Okay.
That sensation in the back of my head.
That sensation in the back of my head.
Now we're going to tap with 2 fingers on both hands at the beginning of the eyebrow on the bridge of the nose. That sensation in the back of my head.
That sensation in the back of my head.
Now we're going to tap on the corner of the eye on the bone with 2 fingers on each side. That sensation that is related to my stress.
That sensation that's related to my stress.
Under the eye on the bone in the middle, the source of my stress. And you know what it is. We could say the exact name of the source, but you can stay more general.
Okay. The source of my stress.
Under the nose, between the nose and the mouth with 2 fingers, that sensation in the back of my head.
That sensation in the back of my head.
Under the mouth, in the crease, that sensation that I physically feel.
That sensation that I physically feel.
Under the collarbone, where it's soft here, just under, that sensation in the back of my head that is related to stress.
That sensation in the back of my head that's related to stress.
And under the arm, where the brow line would be for a woman, that sensation in the back of my head.
That sensation in the back of my head.
And we're going to do one more round, top of the head, my stress. And you
My
know,
stress.
connect to the exact reason of your stress. The eyebrow on the bridge of the nose, my stress, and this sensation in the back of my head.
My stress in the back of my head.
Side of the eye, my stress in the back of my head.
My stress in the back of my head.
Under the eye, I wonder if I can let it go.
I wonder if I can let it go.
Under the nose, I know it doesn't help me.
I know it doesn't help me.
Under the mouth. It doesn't me solve the source of my stress.
It doesn't solve the source of my stress.
Under the collarbone. It's quite the opposite, in fact. It prevents me from being resourceful.
It's quite the opposite. In fact, it prevents me from being resourceful
Under the arm, because I can't think straight when I'm like that.
because I can't think straight when I'm like that.
Top of the head. So I choose to let go of that stress.
So I choose to let go of that stress.
Eyebrows, nose bridge. I choose to let go of the stress.
I choose to let go of the stress.
Side of the eye. I free myself from that stress.
I free myself from that stress.
Under the eye. I love myself, therefore I choose to free myself.
I love myself. Therefore, I choose to free myself.
Under the nose. It is safe to let go of that stress.
It is safe to let go of that stress.
Under the mouth. I step into my power and I let go of that stress.
I step into my power and I let go of that stress.
Under the collarbone. I free myself from stress.
I free myself from stress.
And under the arm. I see it and feel it leaving my body.
I see it and I feel it leaving my body.
And last one, top of the head. I remember who I am and I am powerful.
I remember who I am and I am powerful.
And I can order my body to let go of the stress.
And I can order my body to let go of this stress.
Now you can stop tapping, take a deep breath. Connect to the source of your stress and see where you are on the number. You were the 5 earlier. Where do you think you're now?
Something just told me 2 or 3. I'm at a 2 or 3.
Okay, so if you were my client, we would continue tapping until you get to a 0, and that's what the audience can do. They can rewind and retap if that's the case. What about the sensation in the back of your head?
Gone.
Yeah, so that's a 0. So you would have to work maybe a little bit more on the thought that is the source of the stress and be really precise with that. I don't want to put people on the spot, so I don't ask the host of the podcast usually to reveal what is the source of their stress, but you know what it is, and the more precise you're going to be when you tap, the more efficient it's going to be. And I just want to say, if someone in the audience, if the number went up, that's because you connected to that problem that you usually try to avoid. Go back and tap again, because it will tapping. There are over 100 studies now on tapping, and it does rewire your brain over time. So you don't want to be staying in an emotion and practice it so often that it becomes a solid wiring in your brain.
So Muriel, do you have a morning routine or anything
Yes.
like that?
So in the morning, I usually meditate.
Mm-hmm.
And the type of meditation that I do changes based on what I feel I need on that day. There are days where I will have my own mantra, and it's usually the one that really works well for me is one that there are two, one in French, and it says nothingness, and I identify with the nothingness, I become the nothingness.
Yes.
And the other one is just be.
Yes.
Or I just see the empty space behind my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I just observe that.
Right.
And I also do affirmations in writing, because we're bombarded with negative messages in society, and I want to condition my brain to be positive, to get messages that are hopeful and powerful and put me in contact with who I really am. Those are really the two steady practices, routines. Sometimes I tap. These days I tap a lot because I just feel that I need to, when you shake a tree and everything falls, like I feel like that. I connect to the ground energetically. I put an energy root in the ground, and I tap and I imagine that I'm a tree, and everything that needs to fall is falling in the earth. And I also open, because I'm a Reiki master, so I open the conduit of energy from above me to literally clear me and go back up and go into my aura.
Yes.
So those are things I do very often.
That is good information, and I know that that's a lot of high end stuff, maybe that the normal person doesn't understand quite yet. But to break it down, uh, spend some time with yourself in the morning before you go to work. When you wake up, use the bathroom. Just meditate. Just be within yourself.
And
And Mhm.
even 5 minutes, because I know I have people around me that say, oh, I don't meditate because I can't meditate. And they try to meditate, to start meditating the first time with 20 minutes, and they get annoyed, irritated, frustrated because they can't stop the
Mhm.
thoughts, which we cannot. We go in between the thoughts, go into that gap. Start with 5 minutes and increase over time.
And it's typically the problem is us, we are the first step in dealing with challenges. Is the person who has the challenges. You have to make or take that initiative, whether it's depression, whether it's parenting children. You have to work on you. Um, just like you did, because I know you had a bout with depression. What did you do to bounce back from that, though, when you had your bout?
I multiplied what I gave my clients.
Hmm.
I did meditation morning and evening. On weekends, I was doing meditations that were like maybe an hour and a half, sometimes more.
Hmm.
I did a lot of tapping to really clear and process my negative emotions instead of stuffing them down. I did a lot of asking the universe to show me that they were with me, and sending me love, because I was alone in a country. I was in the US at the time, and I had no family there. I was a single mom. The father was more creating problems than anything, so I was alone taking care of everything, and I felt depleted in love. So I was asking the universe to send me love, and I could feel it physically in my heart chakra, in my heart center, in the middle of my chest.
Hmm.
And I believe that we have ancestors, guides. I believe I have a whole team around me. And I kept connecting with that team and asking for help. And I kid you not, when you really put yourself at a vibration where you can connect and receive,
Yes.
and you're flexible enough to not
Yes.
ask for a specific result, but just say, show me what I need to see, or show me what's the next step. I remember my son was maybe he was 15. When he was 13, he was already having trouble at school, etc. So I enrolled him with Big Sisters, Big Brothers. I don't know if you know that organization in the
I've
US.
heard of that. Yes.
So they match an adult with a kid. And at the time they told me, no, he's 13. You won't find anything. You won't find any man that will want to connect with him because he's too old. They want younger kids. So I said, put him in the system anyway. Leave him in the system. You never know. Fast forward 2 years, he was really skipping school, getting in trouble. And I was asking the universe, what am I supposed to do? Help me, show me. Do I need to read a book, learn something, meet someone? Show me. And that same day, 2 hours later, I received a phone call from Big Sisters, Big Brothers, and he was already 15. So he was even older than when they told me they couldn't find a match. And there was a match. There was someone who was willing to be his positive role model as a male. And he has been friend with him until we left the country when he was 18. They,
Yes.
they had so many things in common. He was now a lawyer, but he went through rough stuff when he was younger. And that was the universe. That wasn't me who made it happen. But you have to ask, you have to believe that you deserve to receive, you have to believe that it's possible, and you have to cultivate that relationship. It's like any other relationship. Cultivate that relationship with the invisible.
So we only have a few more minutes left. I want to get this last question in because I know this will be interesting to a lot of couples out there. But what would you tell someone who has been trying to change a relationship with the person who just doesn't want to cooperate with them?
So I'm a tango dancer. I used to do tango, not so much anymore because I couldn't. But when you
Yes.
change one dancer, when one dancer changes the step, the whole dance is changing. So
Hmm.
work on yourself, neutralize your triggers, heal your wounds, because when your wounds are healing, you're not so sensitive to what the other one is sending you. And make sure when you show up in the relationship, you show up as your most positive, if you can be positive, at least neutral and willing to be the solution for that problem. Put your ego aside. It doesn't have to start with them. They don't even have to change yet. Work on yourself and you will see the relationship changing.
Murielle has a website, Co-Parenting with the Universe. I'm Can you speak about that before we go so that people can know where to find you and it's just exactly what to expect when they get there?
So my website has everything on it. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel where I have many tapping sessions on various topics related to life, day-to-day life as a parent. And when they get there, they're going to see my story, first of all.
Yes.
And they can, if they need some clarity, if they need some help, they can book or request a complimentary session, which is like 30 minutes. I am not at all pushy. There is no pressure. I will just let them experience tapping, let them see with clarity what is going on and what they can do about it. And from there, they can choose to work with me or not, but at least they will have a better idea. Because a lot of people are very, very disturbed and in distress when they get to me.
Good. So www.coparentingwiththeuniverse.com/media.html.
Actually, you don't have to do media. You just do .com because the media is for the interviewers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they will see everything on the front page.
Gotcha. And check out Murielle's podcast as well. You can access that from her website. Do you want to say one last word to the audience before we get out of here?
First of all, I have a freebie on the website, Back to Peace Kit for Mom, that they can grab when they join the newsletter. And yeah, I want to tell them, don't be so hard on yourself and
Yeah.
remember who you are. Remember who you are. We are powerful. We are beautiful. We are magnificent, like you said.
Cool. I'm gonna take us out. I'm gonna move you to the back office. Stay right there. I'll be right there with you. I want to talk to you for a moment. What a great show. What a great show. Murielle is a wonder. Co-parenting with the universe, facing challenges that may be present in your life. Murielle can help you use the laws of attraction and with merging yourself with the universe. But we all need to learn. Basically to self-regulate our emotions. And I think that when you look at Murielle's work and some of the major breakthroughs that she's experienced, she may be a person that you resonate with. And I bring people on this show. I'm a coach. A lot of coaches, a lot of business coaches, a lot of spiritual coaches, they come and they share information, and it's for all of your consumption. And this is why we do it. So we're very excited to continue to do this and to continue to shine a light on consciousness and the way it can help you improve your everyday life. Thank you for listening to Expansion of Consciousness. Again, I'm your host, Jason Medlock. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Expansion of Consciousness. At Expansion of Consciousness. We'll be looking forward to seeing you. We are excited about your support. Thank you very much and good night.